What's up, guys? It's TechnoViking23 coming to you today with some Raid Shadow Legends. Today we're going to be playing Raid Spreadsheet Legends. I do apologize for the discount setup here. I do record all my stuff off my gaming PC, which is basically Windows and games and an antivirus. I don't actually have any practical applications on my gaming PC. So I made this in Excel. It's part of my financial stuff that I do in the background. And so I basically just uploaded it to Google and then downloaded it, the image here, so we can kind of go over it. But what I wanted to do with this video today is kind of actually do something kind of interesting, delve into the financial aspect of Raid a little bit as I play the game, and kind of go over spending habits and things like that. I'm pretty heavily involved in financial stuff behind the scenes. I do a lot of investing. I keep a lot of spreadsheets myself. I went through a period of my life where I was really bad with money. And then in my early and mid 30s, I kind of really just took control of things financially in my life. Now I'm a spreadsheet freak. I do a monthly budget. I've got quarterly budgets. I do a quarterly budget review. I've got a yearly budget put together too. I've just got one basically giant Excel workbook that's got a bunch of spreadsheets in it where I keep track of everything, keep track of spending, keep track of other things that I do here. So that's kind of what I've done with Raid ever since I started playing the game back in May of 2020. So I first found Raid right after we had come home to work from the pandemic, which is, I guess, still kind of going on depending on where you live. Some people are just ignoring it, but it's definitely still going on in terms of the statistics and things. But, you know, my company still work from home, so I've still been able to have plenty of time to play Raid during the day. But I wanted to kind of get into it because one of the things that happened was I started to play Raid, and I have like kind of a monthly discretionary budget for going out and having fun. And it's usually right around $200 or so. You know, that's kind of like $50 a weekend. You go out with your friends, go to a movie, you go out to dinner. I'm old, so I don't really go out and do much anymore. But when we came home from work, it's like I didn't have to drive to work anymore. So all of a sudden I was saving probably about $150 to $200 a month on gas, depending on how much I would drive. I didn't have to sit in traffic for about 3 hours a day, which was great. And obviously a lot of that discretionary spending went out the window because we weren't going to the movie theater, we weren't going out to dinner, everything was closed, you couldn't go anywhere. So all of a sudden I kind of had money to spend, and I got kind of sucked into the spending trap on Raid Shadow Legends. Now, I never really considered myself a whale at any time on this game. I spent considerably less on this game than I did when I played Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, but I also do get a little bit from YouTube every month. I don't think we're supposed to say what we get, but I'm not a big YouTuber. I have about 6,000 subs, and my YouTube monthly is right around $90 to $100. So about $1,200 a year, which isn't a ton of money, but I use most of that money to either pay small bills like my car insurance, or I'll just use it to reinvest into the games I'm playing and making content on. I think that's something you should keep in mind when you watch some of these content creators, especially the smaller ones, is they're probably not making a ton of money on YouTube, and a lot of that money is probably going right back into their channel and the game they play. I think Matt Capper did a really good video on it a while back where he talked about how even though he's in the content creator program, there's an amount of money he winds up spending basically each month just on building champions to make guys with for his videos and for his channel. And he's kind of like me. I think he's a part-time. I don't even consider this like a job or a side gig. I just do YouTube for fun. It's kind of a hobby that makes me a little bit of money on the side. I have a full-time job away from this that's pretty good and pays me a pretty good amount of money. But so I kind of put those numbers in here so you can kind of get an idea of where some of the money comes from that I do spend on the game. And I've kind of converted this to show the average amount of money I spent on the game throughout the last 3 years almost that I've been playing. Now, I did put a couple notes on here. The totals here are not 100% accurate because there were some purchases I made in the game where I had Google points. If you are playing this game on Android or you're even playing it on Play and Play, what I would always do if I was going to buy something, I would go on my phone, log in, and buy it through Google Play, so I'd be sure to get the Google points, and then you can convert those Google points into Google gift cards, and then you can basically use that to buy stuff on the game or any other game. So a tip there, if you don't do that, you spend a lot on Raid, you definitely should do that because it'll allow you to get more for your money, at least if you use that program there. Now, funnily enough, I have never had the monthly gem pack on my main account. Reason was I just never really got into it. Never really saw the value in it. I know it's a very valuable pack, but I personally never saw it when I played the game very early. I was not really in tune with what was good value, what wasn't. And then I actually got into the content creator program in February of 2021. So I was getting gems every week from that. I believe it was like 540 gems. I got some silver, some energy, and some chickens. They did up that number, I think toward the end when I left the content creator program, you were getting, I want to say 700 gems and 1,000 energy. So I was getting quite a bit of resources from that, which was nice. And I was only a tier 1 in the content creator program. That's what we got for tier 1. But I always tried to use that to build champions and make videos with. I know there's a lot of people in the content creator program that actually just hoard their stuff. They have thousands of chickens and tens of thousands of gems because they never actually use their content creator resources to make content. They just kind of hoard it for, I don't know, the end of the world, the raid apocalypse, who knows what it is. But it's kind of just to give some insight into that. But let's go ahead and jump into this here. So we have May of 2020. We started the game. We spent about $72. Now I've rounded all these numbers up to make it easier instead of putting all the decimals and everything. This is basically all pulled from my bank account, which does keep a pretty detailed account of what I do spend money on. The bank that I'm with actually separates all of my monthly expenses. It's kind of nice. They categorize them for me at the end of the month. So I actually have, if I want to go on there, I can actually just type in Plarium. It'll pull up basically all the transactions for the game. So it's pretty cool. And then Plarium Play now, you can actually go in there and also see all your transactions, so you can verify everything that way. So we kind of rounded up a little bit, so the number's probably a little higher than it would have normally been. But you can see in May, we just started the game. We spent about $72. This was mostly a lot of the starter packs that they give you, some of the mini mix packs, a couple warrior circles probably in there. And again, I had zero idea what I was doing. I was just like, oh, cool, this looks like a good pack. It's got chickens. Let me level up this guy. Let me do this. Let me buy these shards. Let me, So we kind of started there. I actually made my first YouTube video in June of that same year. That's kind of when we started making raid content. I spent $127 that month, so you can see we jumped into it pretty quick there. July was when I enter what I call my stupid spending phase of this game. I didn't know any better. I played the game the first couple months without actually ever really searching out any content on how to play the game. Just kind of going through the motions. I just enjoyed the game. I enjoyed the characters, the graphics, and everything, and just thought it was a fun game. And that's when I just started buying shards all the time. I fell into that trap very early on, which is why nowadays I always tell people, don't waste your money on shard packs, because it's something that could really derail your account early on. That's basically what happened to me. So basically August through December of that year, we've had 128, 164, 185, 155, 172. I was buying all kinds of shard packs. Void packs, ancient packs, sacreds, when you got that sacred deal every 7 levels. And what happened because of that was I was just pulling champions all the time. I fell into that trap. I started to see some of the shard pull videos and everything. It's like, oh, the game is just to pull shards basically and collect the champions. So that's what happened. And then actually, I think it was on New Year's Eve. I was on a stream, and I had the raid. The content creator was working on something in my account, because it was New Year's, and they just made a comment to me. They were like, you've got all these crazy champions, you've got no gear at all, and that's why you're not progressing through any of the content. And so I kind of took that to heart, and I started in 2021 at the beginning of the year. My goal was just to basically stop pulling shards. It was to start farming for gear, working on getting my dungeons progressed, start working up through the harder content in the game. And so it's funny enough, because that also coincided with when I joined the content creator program in February of 2021. And what we did there was we kind of stopped buying shard packs. I started focusing more on chickens and gems, because I was actually having to build champions for content to make guides and things. So that's kind of where my spending went in that direction. And then in May of that year, I actually finished building my Bat Eater clan boss team, and was able to get my first 1 key Ultra Nightmare, and that completely changed my account. It completely changed my spending habits with the game. I hear that from a lot of people. It's interesting. That's why I think a lot of people will say it's really important to get to that level where you can do that 1 key Ultra Nightmare, then put 1 key on Nightmare, and then if you want to invest other keys in Brutal or whatever, you can. But when you start 1 keying Ultra Nightmare every single day, the amount of rewards you start getting on your account from that, whether it's legendary books, epic books, you start getting sacred shards, you get a lot of void shards, you get a ton of ancients. And that was one of my big things. I used to always buy ancient shards all the time. When I started getting that 1 key, I was getting tons of ancients every week. I was getting a good amount of voids. Sacreds are pretty streaky. You know, you might get 7 or 8 one month, you might get 3 the next. It just kind of depends. I've had stretches even here recently where I got like 7 in a row from the clan boss, and then I got nothing for like 2 weeks. So it just kind of depends. It's very streaky with the RNG. But once I got that 1 key baddie, it completely changed my spending style of the game. I quit buying shard packs completely. The only time I do buy shards now is if there's a guaranteed event, normally with Ancients. If it's a champion that I really want to go after and I'm short like 30 or 40 shards, I might buy a couple of those packs, as long as they have some other stuff in them like gems that's going to help benefit my account overall. But you can see that the spending did start to kind of go down there a little bit. We dropped down, 137, 123, 112, 109, 85. 68, 72. So you look at November, it's a bit of an outlier. There were I think some Black Friday packs around Thanksgiving, and plus that's when I did a video about whaling on speed packs, I think, and bought a bunch of those. So that's kind of why that was a bit of an outlier. December and January was actually a time period when I started to get a little bit disillusioned with the game. I wasn't really having fun anymore. It wasn't really enjoying it. I ended up leaving the content creator program. Which is kind of funny because I told him, I'm going to take a break from the game. I don't know how long it's going to be, but I just need a break from it. It's burning me out. And I had to leave the program, which is kind of interesting because I know a lot of content creators who've done the same thing, but they were kept in the program. They're a little bit larger content creators and a little bit more involved with the developers, but I just thought that was kind of interesting how I had to completely leave. And they were like, if you decide to start making content again and playing again, come back. Just let us know. You can come back in. But even after I came back to the game, I was like, I don't want to deal with it. I never really felt too much of a benefit there. I joined the content creator program initially to try to reach out and be able to communicate between the community and the developers, but they really don't care what we say in that. And it just turned into like a drama chat, like just stupid stuff all the time. So I was like, whatever, I'm better off just doing stuff on my own, kind of staying away from it. So we actually did take a break from the game for about 3 months, and that's why we had no spending at all for February, March, and April of 2022. So that helped cut down quite a bit. Now we came back in late April or mid-April here, and then I picked up the raid card again, and I think I got the Cold Heart skin in May, the rare one that they had. But ever since I came back, basically I'm in a phase of endgame now where all I ever buy is energy. Outside the occasional shard packs, like I said, for the guaranteed champion events, all I buy is energy now. I don't buy chickens anymore because I can farm up, farming Nightmare 12.6 or Brutal 12.3. I can make my own chickens. I usually have quite a few 5-star food champs just sitting around waiting for that next champion that I want to build, but I just spend all my money on energy for the most part. And the one pack I usually get a lot is the 39.99 one that gives you the auto battles and the energy. And there was a pretty nice energy string pack we got, I think, earlier this week, which is actually what's contributed to most of September's spending was that. Hold on here. Let's get this back up. Okay. There we go. Sorry. Technical difficulties on our discount setup here. So I think August, what happened was I went on vacation in September. And so in August, I said, I'm not going to spend anything on the game. So I wanted to put away some money for my vacation. I was going up into the mountains. I was going to be staying at a fairly nice place and wanted to buy a good dinner every night and some stuff like that. So that's kind of what I do with my budget is like if I know I'm going to be going on vacation or doing something I want to spend money on, I'll stop spending on another area. So we kind of have that money to use elsewhere. So that was basically in August. We only had we still carried the raid card that month, but everything else, I did not buy anything in August. That way I could spend more money on vacation. And so this month so far, we've only got the $50 there, which is basically the energy string pack we got, and then the raid card again, which is I think $9.99 a month, basically. So those are all, like I said, rounded up totals. So our actual total amount, which I was a little bit surprised on, was $27.85. I thought it was going to be a little bit higher than that. I thought it was going to be over $3,000. So was kind of interested to see that. So you see our average spending per month was $96.03. When you average that all out, and then I also broke it down by year. So 2020 we were $11.36, 2021 was $12.59, and then so far in 2022 it's been dropped way down. And like I said, a lot of that has to do with you're getting those clan boss rewards, and we also took a 3-month break this year, so not really a lot of spending, and we've really kind of cut back a little bit these last couple months, kind of getting to the point where I think we're going to try to get down to like the $50 level outside. We did 90 in June and July. I think we're going to try to pull back to around where September was and really kind of cut back overall. But I think it's kind of interesting how that works out. A lot of in-game players I've talked to outside of like the super whales, basically once they get to that stage of the game where a good amount of rewards are flowing into your account from, if you're clearing both normal and hard Doom Tower every month, you're getting a really good amount of rewards from that. You're doing a lot of the events, you're farming food, making your 5 stars, things like that. So you're definitely getting a lot of rewards from doing those. Hydra, you're probably doing late game Hydra, clan boss every day. So you're getting the rewards from all that stuff. So it's kind of an interesting thing how it works out. And I know a lot of in-game players as well I talked to, they said the same thing. Like all they really spend money on is energy, so they can farm gear, and then they'll buy the gear packs sometimes, which I'm not really a big proponent of that. I think it works out in some cases, but I really personally can't afford to spend $50 a set of gear when it comes out. I would just that would go through the budget pretty quick. But overall, I was kind of surprised because the monthly average spend is actually quite a bit lower than what we have kind of for our discretionary budget every month, so it kind of fits into there quite a bit. I'm not a whale by any means, that's for sure. So I was kind of surprised though that number was a little bit lower than what I was thinking, between 3,000 and 3,500. So over the past, almost 3 years. So interesting to see the numbers actually kind of come together. And we'll continue to keep track of this. Maybe I'll do little updates here and there. But I just wanted to kind of present this. This would be kind of a cool video to kind of look at this and jump into the numbers. And I put in some notes obviously to kind of go through the phase of my account that I was in, so you guys kind of get some insight on that there. So we updated this 923. Maybe we'll do this again at the end of the 4th quarter. That's usually when I sit down and do a lot of this stuff. Is I will we got the end of 3rd quarter next week, so I'm starting to put together for my final budget review that I do on my own end for next Friday when the quarter closes. So that's kind of where we came up with this. Then I just got the idea today, like, oh, this would be kind of cool to make a video for this. So hope you guys enjoyed this little look into it. And if you guys have any questions, as always, leave them down below in the comments. I'll do my best to get you an answer as soon as I can. As always, hope you guys are having a great day. Thanks as always for watching, and I will see you again next time.